Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to WoW Live. My name is Tuskeh, and we are in the Shrine of Two Moons. I think we got booted out of the Proving Grounds after we finished it, because we logged out in the Proving Grounds. That's not generally a good idea. So here we are going to prepare for our first LFR. We're going to need to get a few things sorted before we jump on in, and I expect as a tank the queue won't be too long. So we shall head into the Shrine of Two Moons, and we shall prepare. Now, what are we going to do to prepare? First of all, we're going to talk to you. Hello. Heroic deeds, proving grounds. We should probably... We'll accept the heroic scenario one. And we will go into cat form and we will head up... Excuse me. We will head up here. Because we need to talk to Tuskeh. This shall be the legendary questline we are starting now. So we have to seek out the Black Prince at the Tavern in the Mists in the Veiled Stair. Now, why am I doing this? Because one of the first things I'm going to have to do is I am going to have to gather stones that drop from the Mogulshan vaults and from the Heart of Fear, and to a lesser extent from the Terrace of the Endless Spring. Now, if you just joined Mr. Pandaria, you won't know this, but those are in fact the first tier of raiding in Mr. Pandaria. Hopefully you do know that. If you don't, then that's a shame, because they're not bad dungeons. The Throne of Thunder, though, is one of the best, I have to say. When it comes to personal preference, the Throne of Thunder is awesome, because when I was learning about it, I just basically heard, oh, it's Ulduar, but with trolls. Yeah, I can do that. I could definitely see myself liking that. So, I absolutely love the Throne of Thunder. Probably my favourite raid in Mr. Pandaria. Well, that went well, didn't it? I'll be right back while I reconnect. There's always something. Alright, there we go. We're back. I have no idea what that was about. Apparently, Rathian didn't like us talking about the Throne of Thunder. So, I'm not going to go through this. You've probably seen this lore many times. If you've done any kind of raiding and you've had to do this more than once, then it is a terrible shame, but there we go. Share a drink. We will do this. I'll shut up, though.
Very good. Let's talk. Tong, drinks please. My father, Deathwing, tried to destroy the whole of Azeroth. He was misguided, of course, but he was right about one thing. Our world is so fragile. We are a point of light in a universe of shadow, a candle in a tempest. And sometimes I think it was the very precariousness of our world that drove my father to madness. Ah, thank you, Tom. Now to my point. I believe we are headed towards a reckoning. And no, I am not talking about the current conflict between the Alliance and the Horde. Believe me, what Garrosh Hellscream achieved in Theramore is nothing compared to the horrors that are even now bearing down on our fragile home. But the war deeply troubles me. Do you see my concern? A divided Azeroth cannot possibly stand against the darkness. This war has to end soon, before it consumes our strength. You can rest assured that my loyalties lie with your Horde. How do we bring a swift and decisive end to the conflict? I believe the answer lies with heroes like you. We must ensure that you are up to the task, and then equip you accordingly.
Alright, so there we go. Quick chat with Rathian. I'm sure you've seen that before.
Is there such a thing
So we will continue with this.
These Pandaren question everything.
Here we go. The strength of one's foes. That's the one we want. And Honored Reputation we'll get another time. Okay, so we have the quest to gather Sigils of Power and Sigils of Wisdom. And that would be my Gmail. See? This is all live! I told you, this is all live. This is all live. I just need to tell this person to go away. Ah! There we go. Okay. Sorted. So, as I was saying, I was going to talk quickly about Let's Plays. Now, I've said before I'm not really a big fan of Let's Play-like content on my channel, and I know this is pretty much a Let's Play. I tried to make it a little bit more informative than just a Let's Play, but my main problem is that in a situation like that, when Rathian's talking and all this lore is happening, that's some of the most important lore in the game, and at least in my opinion, then a lot of Let's Players will just sit there and make jokes over it, and that pisses me off to no end. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are Let's Players out there that will happily shut up and listen to the lore and are very interested in the lore, and people like that I do like. I do follow people like that, but still, it's a bit of a shame because games don't really, they're not well, not really at the moment designed for Let's Players. Some of them are though. Anyway, we are going to prepare ourselves for LFR. That was the main goal, so we now have Strength of One's Foes, which is the first quest we need. I'm not sure if there's anything else we need, but one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to need to log out, and we are going to activate some add-ons. So we will go to Zen Talkie, who is our druid. We will activate a few things. First of all, we'll activate Atlas Loot so we know exactly what to expect when it comes to loot. Bartender, we don't need that right now. That's fine. Bigwigs, we will want that. Bigwigs is my raiding add-on. I prefer Bigwigs over DBM. Both work. I've used both in the past, but I prefer Bigwigs. No, we don't want that. Elementarist, no. Error filter, no. Gathermate, no. Global cooldown, no. We don't want that one. Gladius, KG panels, lag bar, mask, Mogget. Oh, not yet. That might have to be a video in and of itself. Move anything. We'll activate that. We might need it. Not sure. Cooldown count for everything. That's what we want. I like my good old Omni CC. OP, we'll have you as well. Postal, and we'll activate. Actually, we won't activate Pratt. We don't need that right now. RSA, we don't need that. Scrolling combat text, we will want to activate you. I'm pretty sure we want to activate you. In fact, no, we won't. Not for now. It's not that necessary. Don't need shadowed unit frames. Tidy plates. We are definitely going to want tidy plates, though. Voodoo. That's not that big of a deal at the moment. Weak auras. Well, yeah, we probably should activate weak auras. And then X-Loot, we don't need that. Okay, so we have our add-ons activated. So, let's get to work actually activating them. So we have Atlas Loot here. That's all good. Bloody hell, I need to remember what I actually installed. I am so bad at this. Bloody hell. I know there is a very good add-on that they're actually adding in Warlords of Draenor. This one, the one that right at the top that I missed. Add-on control panel. It lets you mess around with your add-ons in the game. I would definitely suggest finding it and downloading it. It's right here. So there we go. Now we can see what we've actually got. So Atlas Loot, Bigwigs, they're both fine. Actually, we'll have a quick look at Bigwigs. And we'll move and configure the bars and the messages and the like. So emphasize message, fine. Messages, fine. Bars, we'll put you down there. Alt power is good there. Okay, I like that. What else are we doing? See, I'm so bad with my memory. Move anything, Omni CC. So if I activate, for instance, Barkskin. Okay, I get a little timer down there. That's exactly what I want. I need to know that kind of thing. I keep typing /bar like I'm buggering around with my own UI. I used to do that a lot while I was making my shaman. It took a long time to get to the good old UI that I use at the moment. OP, well, that's fine for the moment. Postal, that's fine. Tidy plates. Tidy plates and weak auras. Those are the big two. So, tidy plates. Alright, so we are going to... We'll go outside, I think, and have a look at these training dummies. Okay, so we want to be tank. This will affect how it actually appears to us. Which one of these themes do we want? Something nice and simple. Grey. Looks like it's good. So here we go. We will have a look at this. So this will just decide how to show the tidy plates to us. So for instance, if I were tanking and I lost threat, it would go red instead of being blue. So that's very helpful. So we'll just have a look through here. This is all fine. That aura list is fine. Dispellable debuffs, friendly units don't need that. Spotlight mode, scales. I mean, we can pretty much just leave this as it is. I mean, this should just work nicely for us. I mean, I don't see any problems with it. And finally, weak auras. Now, there are a couple of things, and holy moly. Okay, these are my shamans. And also my old druids stuff. So, try to ignore this. We'll hide all that. Okay, so we will make a new... I forget how to do this. Bloody hell. Well, actually, for now, we'll just make new stuff. So, what do I want to track? I want to track Savage Defense. That's going to be important. So I will put Savage Defense, apparently. We'll put you right here, right next to my bar. So there we go. So it'll be right in the middle of my screen. So we will go to Trigger, Aura, on me, Savage Defense. That's how they spell it correctly. Yep. We want cooldown. That will show the duration. And that should do it. Should be pretty simple. Let's give it a go. We will activate you and start smacking you. Alright, there's our Savage Defense. Lovely jubbly. Excuse me, I just need to blow my nose quickly. Oh. I do beg your pardon. It was very rude of me. Anyway, where did I put Savage Defense? Oh no, here we go. It's called new. Savage Defense. This is all a bit of a mess, but I will get it sorted out one day. So, we've got Savage Defense. We should also track Berserk, I think. We want it to be the same size, so we will just duplicate you. And then we will move you to the right. Don't worry, I'm not moving the old one. It just stopped showing it. Berserk. That should hopefully work now. There we go. Alright, that's good. And down there we know the cooldowns will work. That's fine. And I'm pretty happy with all of that. Yep, for now that should do. We shouldn't encounter too many big issues. Okay, so we've set up... Let's just quickly go over all our items again. So we've got Bigwig set up. We've got Atlas Loot, which is up here in the corner. So here it is. We can go to Mists of Pandaria and the Mogulshan Vaults and see what they drop. Actually drop worse gear than I have now. See, I inherently disagree with that design, but, you know, I don't make the game, so I got Atlas Loot, got Bigwigs, got that all set up. Move anything, we don't need to do anything with that at the moment. Omni CC, a cooldown count for everything, that works. We've shown that when I use Barkskin, for instance, it pops up there. Omni C... yep, OP, we don't need to use that at the moment. It might actually be useful to set it up, actually, so we'll do that. So, it'll be helpful to be able to mark things. So, we will... Well, we've got default at the moment. Does that mean I'm using... It does. So, Shift-R activates... If you don't know what OP is, or I suppose it's OPI, it is this little menu that appears around my mouse cursor. I just hold like Control-R, and then I can mark things really easily. And you can bind just about anything to these, so I can buff myself. I've got my leather working here. I've got Innovate, Revive, Mark of the Wild, Barkskin, a whole bunch of my different cooldowns. And actually using it just uses it. So that's very helpful. I use it mostly for this, but I will change it just a little bit. We want world markers. That's Alt 2. It should be Alt 2. I don't know why you're going to that. I'm not sure. Okay, because we've got a utility ring here. Well, that gets added automatically for us. So there we go. Oh, sorted that out. Okay, so we've got all that sorted out. Omni CC, OP, Postal, that's just a mail add-on that I like. The rest of it's all just kind of quality of life stuff that we're not too concerned with at the moment. Tidy plates, of course, very important. Weak Aura's got that sorted. And there we go. We are now ready. And of course, when you're messing around with your add-ons, one of the first things you want to do when you're done is log off. Because you want to save your settings. Very important, that. I say as I've frozen my game. You see, this is the kind of stuff that I have to deal with on a daily basis. There we go. See, I wanted this to be completely live. I didn't want there to be any kind of bullshittery, essentially. I didn't want to edit things out other than, you know, the stuff I had to, like when I had to close the game. So this is all what it's like. So, we will start with the Guardians of Mogulshan. People are looking for healers at the moment, which is bloody typical, but we are a tank, so we will find Q as a tank. Hopefully, this won't take too long. We'll move a few things around there. We've got Bigwigs there. There's our raid find, and you just need a couple of healers, and we'll talk to this Blinktron in the meantime. Now, when it comes to doing LFRs, you don't really need to think about things like flasks. They are helpful, but they're not necessary, and I'm not an engineer, so I can't actually use that. I'm so used to being an engineer that I just assumed that always worked. So we will delete some of the stuff we've got here to make some room. Don't need you. I can't actually sell the level 90 boosted stuff. That's interesting. I suppose it's to stop people from making too much money off of it. Aside from the fact that you get given 2,000 gold. At least I'm pretty sure it's 2,000 gold. As for gems and enchants, I wouldn't worry too much about gems and enchants for the Mogushan vaults. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But, I mean, let's have a look at our gear. What really here can we gem and enchant? I mean, we've got this blue socket here. I'm not actually sure what we do in terms of gems and enchants for a Guardian Druid. Because, like I said, I haven't looked up any guides. It might actually be an idea to do so right now. I suppose we have 2,000 gold. It wouldn't hurt to gem and enchant ourselves. Well, not maybe enchant ourselves, but certainly gem ourselves, because that'll give us some socket bonuses. And that might be quite helpful, because we're going to be replacing gear fast. So we've got to be extra careful with that. So, blue socket and red socket. They both give bonus agility. So, I'm just going to Alt-Tab, and I'm going to head over to Icy Veins. If you ever wonder about what guides you should look at, Icy Veins is one I suggest. You probably can't see this right now. I'm just going to quickly have a look-see at what gems and chance reforges they suggest. So for blue, they suggest a Jagged Wild Jade, which is crit and stamina. Okay. Whoops, I keep smacking my microphone. I'm so good at this. I'm so professional. Alright, so they're only 60 gold. That's not too bad. And then red, we want Crafty Vermilion Onyx. Okie dokie. Let's have a look. Crafty Ver. Alright, my queue is ready. This actually took a little bit longer than I thought it would. I have queued with tanks before for things like LFRs, and they... Well, that went well. And they pretty much just... Yeah, pop instantly. So we will gem ourselves there, and we will gem ourselves there. Not going to enchant the weapon. It's just not worth it. Not even slightly worth it. So, I'm just checking, make sure we haven't missed any gems. Okay, we haven't. Like I said, I'm not too confident in enchanting at the moment because we're going to be replacing gear quite quickly. Although, if that is the case, it may be worth using a flask. Now, let's see. Flask of... I forget what it's called. Falling Leaves is a spirit. Okay. Is it iron something? Stone skin? Bloody hell, this is a lot of flasks of Falling Leaves. Spring Blossoms. That's agility. I swear I do know this game. Flask of Earth. There we go. Stamina. We'll buy you. Now, like I said, this isn't entirely necessary. Whoops. But I certainly find it will be helpful. 1 hour should be enough to finish an LFR. Especially something like the Mogushan Vaults. So, for now, we will wait. Let's have a quick look at some leather. See if we can see anything that's worth buying. I doubt it, though. What have we got here? Level 80, level 55, level 60. Here's level 90. Not a bad belt. I can't afford it, but not a bad belt. What else? Level 80, level 80, level 87. Interesting. More at level 87, level 80. Oh, I used to play a druid in Cataclysm. A healing druid. That was fun. I miss it. Oh, well. Well, I will sit here in Orgrimmar and await... Oh, someone completed the legendary staff quest. I will sit here in Orgrimmar and I shall await the queue popping. So I shall either speed this up or edit through it. Because I'm not going to be doing anything else. I know I just said I don't want to edit too much, but I'm not going to sit here and try and talk for 15 minutes straight because I will bore you. So I will wait. Oh, that didn't take long. Well, hopefully this goes well. So we've got 2 tanks, 5 healers and 13 DPS at the moment. That should do okay. I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure how the LFR mechanics work. I'm pretty sure you can enter with a suboptimal group like this, but we should be fine. So, the first bunch of bosses for the Guardians of Mogushan is the Stone Guard, which is a lot about the tanks. The Fenglia Curse, I believe his name is, who is also quite a bit about the tanks. And then Garajal the Spirit Binder, who is not about the tanks at all. Funny story, the Garajal the Spirit Binder is actually the troll that is involved with possessing the council members in the Council of Elders in the Throne of Thunder. Stuff you didn't know. Okay, so one of the first things we are always going to do is we are going to inspect our tank. He is in not particularly good gear either. So I will just, well, we'll follow him. We'll set you as warrior. I'll be your off tank, smiley face. So there we go. That's what we always want to do. We always want to say things like, you know, yeah, I'll be your off tank. Just get things clear. Communicate with your tank. Yeah, okay. He's off, and I will be off as well. So a bit of AOE at the moment. There we go. All right, so we want to aggro you folks. Get a bit of aggro on what we can, and pop our savage defenses. So here we are. We're in an LFR. So it looks like we've got about half of them at the moment. We'll pop our berserk. You're wandering off, so we'll taunt you. And we've got the big one at the moment, which is nice. So we're going to have some strong DPSs at the moment. I didn't even think to use my recount. Shows what I know. I'm a tank, I don't worry about DPS at all. Alright, so moving on. I will get this left group, hopefully he will get the right group. Where is he? There he is. Looks, which way is he going? He's going left, so I will go right. Because we're going to aggro both of these groups. Someone is going to do it, so it might as well be me. That's the best way of thinking about it. And then I will drag you over here. We are going to lose aggro to a lot of things. It's probably going to be just as bad, if not worse, than a heroic, because we've got more people to lose aggro to in these scenarios. So although some of these guys are red, it looks like constantly shifting targets to see who I've lost aggro to. Alright, that guy is targeting someone else. Of course, not a big deal in a situation like this, but it's something you have to learn, because if I let aggro like this go away all the time, then people will die. So it's very important that I do things like that. So this Juste person is getting a lot of aggro. She's probably in pretty good gear, so that's something certainly to think about. So we will just smack through here, lacerate you, throw a maul on. Alright, and we are good. Oh, bloody hell. We have both of those already. Okay, I'll take the one on the right. Whoops, I keep smacking my headset. I'm so clever like that. And we will throw in a ready check. I always feel it's best to throw in ready checks. It's kind of a... I'll just pop in rage so we're ready. It's kind of just an instinct of mine. Alright, so we'll pull in 5.
4.
This guy probably, yeah, doesn't have big wigs or DBM. That's fine. That's fine though. Alright, so we have... He's immediately lost aggro. So we want to help him if we can. And so have I. I've lost aggro as well. Bloody hell, come here! It's very important that we don't lose aggro on bosses. That's a very important thing. Let's try and get some aggro back. So we've got an amethyst pull under us. That's fine. Alright, so we've got 2 of them. Our friendly tank has the other one. So that's fine. We'll try and get aggro on you. Keep an eye on our feet so that we don't stand in anything bad. We'll pop our trinket, I think, for now, to keep ourselves a little bit safe. I'm using maul too much. I need to, again, not do that. We'll pop savage defense. Keep ourselves with the active mitigation. And then we'll use it again. Try and generate enough rage to use another savage defense afterwards. So I'm tanking 2 of them at the moment. That's fine. Another savage defense comes out. Alright, he's tanking the other one. That's fine. So they're all going to be generating energy at this point. This is not how you do it. So these guys are about to overload. So let's have a look at their energy. So we will pop that to keep ourselves up with it. So the raid's going to be taking a fair amount of damage at the moment. It's not too much of a problem, but I mean, you can't die to petrification in this fight, which is one of the biggest threats in normal mode. So it's not something you should worry about too much. Again, just keeping my savage defense up. These guys all share health. We've lost aggro there, so I will taunt. Can't really rely on this other tank to keep aggro, so I'm just going to pop my berserk and spam my maul. Throw in a savage defense because that doesn't activate our cooldown. Again, we can't see our damage numbers, but that's fine. Not too concerned about my damage numbers. It's not really something I even have to think about. It does remove a little bit of the feedback, but that's fine. We've got a little... There we go. Alright, so Sigil of Wisdom dropped. Didn't get any loot, but that's fine. We've got our first Sigil of Wisdom. And we will quickly go to the floating combat text and activate those. So, where is our second tank? We should actually mark him. You can be nipple, Mr. Tank. I will be triangle because I'm a druid. I'm green. Dabba dee ba dabba die. I know, I'm terrible. So, again, just going to grab aggro. Very important thing is to get aggro as soon as you can. It's called snap threat. That's what you want to do, is you want to get aggro as soon as something appears. And then we will bring these two together. I'm pretty sure these guys do a shockwave. It's always a good idea to face something away from the raid. See, there's the shockwave. It's always a good idea to face something away from the raid unless you know otherwise. There are some bosses that will require I have to face the raid. So that is important to remember. Again, mechanics, doubly important when it comes to being a tank. You have to know this stuff. And if you don't know this stuff, then look up guides. I haven't made an LFR guide for these places, but really you can kind of just loll your way through these places without too much of a problem. So we'll get ourselves snap threat. I mean, this is just kind of like a glorified heroic more than anything else. Alright, so I've got aggro on everything right now. So getting a fair amount of snap threat. I like that. The AoE threat isn't too bad. Losing aggro on you. To you. It's always important to check target to make sure to see who you're losing aggro to. You don't ever want to waste a taunt on someone who's not a tank. So for that one, for instance, I'm not going to taunt. I will taunt the guy in the back, though. That's important. It's always good to know who you're taunting off of. If you're taunting off your off tank for no reason whatsoever, then it's not worth it. You've just wasted the cooldown on your taunt. So we will hit you. Smack you about. I haven't even used my flask at this point. I haven't even been slightly threatened, so I mean, I'm not too concerned about that. Alright, so here is the second boss. I'm not even going to do a ready check at this point. Yep, they're just going to aggro him. So one of the things we have to think about is this nullification barrier, which I'm going to grab now. Now this nullification barrier is a tank only thing. I'm pretty sure, did I get it? I'm not even sure I got it. Well, anyway, so we may not even be that useful in this fight, because this fight can be one tank, so we'll just sit in the back. Don't want to get parried, and we will smack you around. Of course, this tank is facing him in the wrong direction, because as you can see, that lightning beam there, I'm just mousing over it, is wandering around. Alright, now, I'm pretty sure... I do have it. I just can't see it. That's fine. Okay. So this nullification barrier will make things around me immune. This is a mechanic that you use in normal mode, and it's a mechanic that you can use in LFR. Of course, I can't see my extra action button at the moment, which is a little bit of a shame, but I do know what it's keybound to. So I did pick it up, so I can use it. So that's nice. So we're just going to smack you about. So this earthquake deals damage around you. So we're just going to go under him and activate nullification barrier. So you see, look at all these melee that we are preventing any damage to. Now this epicenter, this earthquake that he does, it deals more damage the closer to him you are. So the melee are in particular danger of being hit by it. This tank does seem to know what he's doing, by the way. He's moved after the first lightning fists. So either he's remembered or he's adapting. Either way, good job, good job. So we will just continue to smack you in the face. We're not really useful in this fight, so we will just continue to hit. Here's the next epicenter. I say we're not helpful. We're actually reducing a lot of damage, so that's good. So there's the next epicenter. Of course, the channel doesn't last as long as the cast of the epicenter, but that's fine. We reduce a lot of the damage, so we will continue to smack him about. So again, not the most interesting of fights. Alright, he's gone past his first phase. We are now moving on to the second phase, the spear phase. I'm going to see if I can get threat here at this point. That would be nice if I could do some tanking. Let's see if he's going to taunt off me. I mean, generally that's how you do it. I mean, well, I'm not even sure that's how you do it on normal mode. I'm pretty sure that on normal mode you don't taunt every time he switches phases, because they're different stacks. So I am going to be taking some damage here, but that's fine. We have lost aggro again, but that's fine. I'm not going to try and have a taunt war with this guy. It's not generally a good idea. It's a good way to piss people off. I try and be generally humble when it comes to things like this. But... alright, we're going to have some fire in the melee. Oh, nope. Okay, so I'm just going to use my next nullification barrier. Again, this can be used to prevent him from doing too much damage. Again, knowing the mechanics of the fight. In this phase, he will summon these wildfire sparks on people, and then he will draw them into him. And if any reach him, then he will gain a damage buff and start doing taking damage to the raid. But the tank with the nullification barrier can get in the way of this with the nullification barrier, and if the fire hits the nullification barrier, then they vanish. It also prevents the fire from going into the melee and dealing damage. So again, knowing the fights. I can't believe I actually remember these fights. It's been so long since I've done this. Alright, so that's the next phase. Cool little thing, these statues actually explode when he throws the weapon back. See that? Isn't that cool? So we'll just charge after you. See how long I can hold aggro until he taunts. We will do that. Gonna lose aggro very fast, I imagine. It's not generally a good idea to trust your off-takes, but this guy's shown that he's been fairly... I mean, he knows what he's doing. So that's nice. It's nice to have a tank who's at least somewhat confident. Alright, so he's got his aggro back. That's fine. We won't use Berserk at this point, because it won't be off of cooldown for the next trash pack, and that's really where I'm going to get the most use out of it. So we'll use another nullification barrier. Not so helpful with this guy's third phase. Arcane Velocity deals more damage the further away you are. So in normal mode, everyone would hug the melee when he starts doing that, and the nullification barrier would prevent most of it. But I'll just help the melee. Again, anything you can do as a tank to help the group is important. Anything you can do as anyone to help the group is important. I mean, I wouldn't worry about the tank swap in this fight. He's nearly dead, so we should be good. We should be fine. And there we go. One dead boss. So again, no more loot, but that's fine. We're not really after loot, because the loot we're going to get is going to be lower than the time missile stuff, unless we get a headpiece, a weapon, or a trinket. So we'll move forward a little bit. Make sure the raid is behind us. And through this door, we'll pop trolls. And I have accidentally aggroed the whole group. That's fine though. We can handle this. We'll just try and get AoE threat. We will smack that. We're going to pop a couple of cooldowns at this point because we are taking a lot of aggro here. Again, trash is where some of the most dangerous stuff happens. Can't taunt these guys. Can, however, taunt the guys who pyroblast. And we can also interrupt the guys who pyroblast. Can we stun the guys who pyroblast? Yes, we can. Again, important to stop casters like this from doing their thing. So we'll use our trinket at this point. Got aggro on quite a few things. It's very important that we don't go out of line of sight of our healers because we did chunk fairly heavily near the start of that fight. So we will smack you. Important to watch out for pyroblasts, which we just got hit by, but that's fine. The raid looks like it's now onto these guys, so we've spent some time getting threat. We should be good. We'll bear hug you to stun you. Oh no, we already used that. My mistake. So we'll use Maul. Okay, that went fine. Considering how bad it went with that aggro. I didn't mean to tab onto the infiltrator rather than the troll rusher. Would have been better if we'd fought them without that. That's fine, we will move on and aggro you. We will start by popping our bark skin at this point, because generally it can be expected that the healers are going to be a little bit behind in terms of, well, everything. Gear, in terms of competence, in terms of awareness, and in terms of actual physical position. Always expect your healers to be somewhat behind, unless you're in like a normal mode group. Then you can yell at your healers if they're not behind you. Just to clarify, if you're in a normal mode group like a guild, not just a random pug, don't yell at people in pugs, it's not worth it. So this has always been traditional for destroying people's FPS. Look at all that fire. Alright, our off-tech has threat. I will run this way and aggro you folks. Come here. So we'll run out of line of sight to get these flame casters in the back towards us. And hopefully people in the background can start to get the Pterodax Riders down. Very important that we keep an eye on those Pterodax Riders. If we don't, then we could be in trouble. Alright, so here comes the Pyroblast. We don't want that getting through. Big long cast time like that. That's a big flashing warning light. Alright, that Infiltrator is on a DPS, so I will taunt that Infiltrator. We'll throw in a Fairy Fire. And he's run off again. Alright, what can we do to interrupt this? We'll interrupt your Fireball. Apparently not. I didn't seem to be able to interrupt them. That's weird. There we go. I interrupted the important one. Alright, so the off-tech has a lot of threat at the moment. I'm going to double check the sky up there. Make sure that we're not going to have a dude in the raid that's going to be killing people. So now we want to take out these Pterodax Riders. So hopefully we'll have people in the air. We should probably say that. Shoot down the Pterodax, folks. Smiley face. Always best to be nice and clear when it comes to things like this. Don't ever want people being like, ah, nah, nah, nah. You know what I mean? It sounds exactly what it sounds like. It means exactly what it sounds like even. I missed my taunt, which sucked. But I got aggro, that's fine. Okay, here comes the next Pterodax Rider. I can actually taunt you because I used it correctly there. So we've got two of them. There should be one or two more. Alright, looks like they are DPSing them down. Good idea to move you out as far as I can. There's the next Terror Rider. We'll grab you. Just taunting and combining it with the Fairy Fire at the moment. Going to use our Savage Defense. here comes our last Terror Rider. So we'll grab you. Always important to never let these guys get behind you, because if they're behind you, then you can't mitigate them in any way. Like, you can't parry, you can't dodge, you can't block, so it's important that we do all of that. Less important for a druid because we're reliant so much on dodge, but still. Okay, so here comes Garajal the Spirit Binder. Now, he will eventually banish the tank. Not sure if that'll ever be a problem. But getting snap threat is very important because he will fixate, and if he fixates on a DPSer, it may not be the end of the world, but it may be very sucky in terms of actually dealing with it. Just in terms of public embarrassment, we don't want that. So we'll pop Berserk and try and get threat on him as quickly as we possibly can. Alright, so I've been fixated. I've actually successfully got threat. So we will just spam our Berserk for now. I'll use another Savage Defense. Now, this is very important. Any damage I take is also shared with the people in the group. It is very important that I take as little damage as possible, which means I will want my Savage Defense and my cooldowns rolling as much as I possibly can. So 3, 2, 1. Next Savage Defense. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next Savage Defense. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll throw in a Bark Skin while we wait. Next Savage Defense. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't have the cooldown at the moment. Yes, we do. Actually, never mind that. So there's another one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another one. We'll pop in Rage. 5, 4, 3. And I've been knocked into the bad realm. So here's the Severer of Souls. Now, this will kill me in 20 seconds. So we will... I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk being a hero at this point. I'm just going to kill my guy. So, killing him is very important. So, he's now fixated on our next tank. So that's good. He picked up threat nice and fast. We will continue to DPS at this point, and let our cooldowns cool down. I'm spending a lot of time looking at my action bar down the bottom. I might want to change my UI so that my focus is more in the middle of the screen. I could have that bar like directly underneath all this. That might be a nice idea. That's something for the future, though. For now, we're just going to continue to smack you about. Mr. Garajal, the Spirit Binder. Tank banished in about 10 seconds. Alright, so that was down there, and here it is up here. So we are going to want to prepare to get through it as quickly as possible. Now, he cannot be taunted while he's fixated, but for a couple of seconds he won't be fixated. So there is the banish. I need to grab aggro as soon as I can. There we go. Very important that I get that aggro, because we don't want him just sitting here wailing on one of our strong DPSs. Unfortunately, they could survive it, which is a bit of a shame in terms of mechanics, but it would also be really, really embarrassing. I mean, my job is to tank. I better tank. So he's going to frenzy soon, which means that I will probably be the one that will eat the majority of his damage. Okay, so there's the frenzy. He will no longer banish me, as far as I'm aware. Or maybe he will, I'm not sure. So again, just want to use our Savage Defense as much as we can. Get the Rage up for that. Hit you. We'll pop our Bark Skin. And next wave we'll pop our Trinkets. Alright, now we'll pop our Trinkets. Come on, give me some threat, give me some threat. There we go. So there's our next Savage Defense. Now these Savage Defenses are very important because that's 45% dodge, which is very helpful on a fight like this because dodge just completely dodges an attack. Like, there's no way you can... Oh, I'm going to miss the end of the fight. There we go. So there we go. Not bad at all. We got him sorted. Thanks, folks. Always a good idea to say thank you. So there we go. That was our first LFR. And now you are going to wander off. He's going to go to the Throne of Thunder and wait for us, where we will encounter him again in the future. Goodbye, Garajal, the Spirit Binder. Whoops. So there we go. That was our first ever LFR. So that went pretty well. I got a good bit of experience tanking, and that went pretty well. So next time we shall go into the next wing, which is the Vault of Mysteries. That should prove to be a little bit more challenging. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any thoughts, comments, anything you want to say, if you just want to yell at me for my terrible tanking, then go ahead. Do so in the comments. Additionally, you could also use the links in the description if you wanted to contact me directly. But otherwise, just leave a comment. make sure you subscribe to catch content like this as soon as it comes out. And if you have any questions at all about the boosted level 90 or all of that jazz, comments. I will always be happy to answer any questions you have. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Best of luck with your boosted level 90.